Hello, Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon on YouTube, and then I post it up to Facebook. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. If you feel you need a therapist, please go to Google, type in therapy, your city, Psychology Today will pop up, click on that, and it will have therapists in your area. Also, the views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other damn therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka done. So just got done with Minneapolis. It was amazing. Well, not just. We got done at 4 o'clock. And then Suzanne and I went and toured Summit Avenue. So that was pretty cool. So thank you for the turnout. Thank you, you guys. You're amazing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for helping each other. This is incredible. I am honored to be a part of this journey. So our next tour is going to be in Anaheim. And then after Anaheim will be San Jose and San Francisco. And then September 14th will be Reno. And then we're doing San Antonio and Austin. So there are still tickets available. I do believe that Anaheim is starting to get close to being sold out. So if you're interested in going to Anaheim, now's the time to get your tickets. Also, the cruise is coming up. If you have not made your deposit and if you've not paid off the bill for that, you need to do that. That's coming up on August 1st. That's the deadline. So I think that's it for that. All right, so tonight what I want to do is I just want to do a bunch of questions because people have had a ton of questions that they've sent in, and I just wanted to kind of clear some of those. Oh man, I need water. I literally walked like 15,000 steps today. It was awesome. I loved it. Hang on. Okay, so the first question is, what is schizoid personality disorder? Okay, so schizoid is part of the cluster A. So you have schizotypal, schizoaffective, and then there's schizoid. So it's part of schizophrenia. It has a lot of traits of schizophrenia. It basically, let me just grab this off the Mayo Clinic here. Individuals with schizoid personality disorder are fearful of the world, ultimately entering into a secluded and hidden environment that they create. They lean towards extreme submissiveness and give the impression of only seeking any form of validation from within. On the other hand, their lack of constructive connection and emotional apathy frequently places them in situations where they can be easily manipulated by other individuals. They may struggle with individual feelings of community, seclusion, and isolation, and have a increased risk for depression. Criteria for schizo personality disorder in the DSM-5 is neither wants nor likes close relationships, including counting being part of a family, almost constantly picks introverted activities, has little, if any, thought in engaging in any sexual experience, seldom derives pleasure from any activities, has no close friends other than immediate relatives, appears apathetic to the admiration or disapproval of others, just like there's no one way or the other, shows emotional coldness, detachment, or flattened affect. It's more common in men, as well as in first-degree relatives of those with schizophrenia. So that's why they're thinking it is part of the schizophrenic spectrum kind of thing. The risk factors are enhanced. It increases the chance of getting schizophrenia. Let's see what else I can find. There's a greater risk if family members have got schizotypal or schizophrenia. So, yeah. There is a differential diagnosis between schizoid personality disorder and similar disorders such as schizophrenia and other cluster A personality disorders. So there's a difference. I mean, they're all very similar, but they've got different ways of expressing. So anyway, that is that. Schizoid is not my area of expertise, I got to tell you. So if you want more information, honestly, go to the Mayo Clinic and look up schizoid personality disorder. It will have a whole thing on it, you know, the causes, the treatments, the whole thing. It's got traits of schizophrenia. It's got traits of schizotypal. It's got traits of schizoaffective. So you want to read up on this. If you've got a family member with schizoid personality disorder, you definitely want to read up on that. So anyway, sorry I couldn't be of more help. That is not my area of expertise. I just wanted to let you know that, but I just wanted to give you an overview as to what it is. Let's see. When to see a doctor. People with schizoid personality disorder usually only seek treatment for related problems such as depression. So if you suspect a loved one has schizoid personality disorder, gently suggest the person seek medical attention. It might help to offer to go along with them to the first appointment. So Mayo Clinic is great for things like this. So if you have any questions about schizoid, go to the Mayo Clinic. Just type in schizoid personality disorder Mayo Clinic, and it will pop up everything there on that. It's on the spectrum. It's on the schizophrenic spectrum. So, all right, trusting the wrong people. Why is it such a shock when they betray us? Boy, howdy, did we talk a lot about this today. So we tend to view the world the way we are. And because we are loving and kind and empathic and gentle, and we expect everybody else to be the same way, and they're not, which sucks ass. So we place our trust in people. We've been trained through society, through religion, through, whatever, to trust first until proven otherwise. Well, I'm going to trust them until they prove me wrong. No, 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 no. It should be the other way around. They need to show to you that they are trustworthy. Then you trust them. So there's a great book. Susanna and I were talking about this, The Gift of Fear. And, fear is there for a reason. It's there to help us. It's there to say, hey, you know what? This may not be a good thing. You may want to take a look at why your gut is screaming at you right now. So The Gift of Fear is a great book. Unfortunately, I do not remember who it is written by because my brain left about, 20 minutes ago. It's 9 o'clock here. I'm ready for bed. I got to get up at 5 tomorrow. Why? Why do I pick the early morning flights? Why do I do? Well, I know, because I live in Phoenix and it's going to be 115 tomorrow. Anyway, so we trust the wrong person because we're trained, we're groomed. Our family of origin, our society, our religion, or whatever tells us to trust people, as opposed to, no, you need to show me that you're trustworthy. So what we need to do is we need to flip it, and we need to start demanding that people show us that they are trustworthy. Once they have shown us that they are trustworthy, okay, great. Then we can place some trust in them. If they break that trust, be done. Be done. Don't give them a second, third, fourth, 10th, 20th, 1,000,000th chance. They show you who they are. When they break your trust, when they hurt you, when they intentionally harm you, when they cut you down, when they, sabotage, when they've shown you who they are, believe them the first time. So there is that. Speaking of trust, how do I trust YouTube content from other speakers? Oh, there you go. So, okay, basically you want to take a look at what is the payoff for this person? What are they getting out of it? Okay, for me, I want to educate as many freaking people as I possibly can, because I see it. I see it on a daily basis. I see the effects of domestic violence because that's what I specialize in. So I see people coming in, deer in the headlights. What the hell just happened? I don't understand, And I want to educate. I want to get people educated so that they avoid them. So that when an abuser comes walking up to them, they can go, abuser. Oh, yeah. I see. Oh, yeah, there now, I recognize you. Yeah. And avoid them completely. So that's what you want to do. And that's why I'm doing it. Other people on the internet, I'm not going to name names because I don't want to get sued, but somebody was like, oh my God, there's this woman out there and she's like this spiritual guru and she does these hypnotic tapes under the guise of spirituality. So again, you got to be careful of the gurus, guys. You got to be careful. If they're looking to gather a bunch of people to them and do a harem and, have a bunch of, what's the word I'm looking for? Acolytes or, brain gone. People telling them how great they are, and they're doing it for their ego. You want somebody who's got a degree, who works in the field, who's not just in an ivory tower somewhere theorizing about what it must be like to be the common person. You want somebody who's real, who's down in the trenches, who's doing it. And you got to be careful of people who have a criminal background, who go on and, say that they're this wonderful, all-knowing expert, and meanwhile their degree is from, Nigeria or Timbuktu or Constantinople, Istanbul. So, that kind of thing. It's like you got to watch out for that. It's like you can go get a degree from Joe Blow University in the Bahamas or in, the Caribbean or Jamaica or whatever. You want somebody who actually has a real degree, who's working in the field, who is not just pontificating on YouTube, but has a practice and is working and writing books and educating and doing it for the right reasons. So yeah, that's how you know what to trust and what not to trust. And if your gut is yelling at you that this person is a guru, turn them off. Turn them off. You want to turn off the gurus. The gurus are the ones, oh my God, the pseudo spiritual, you know, the ones who come on and go, oh, my shit doth not stink because I have attained enlightenment. Fucking bullshit. If you'd attained enlightenment, y'all wouldn't be on this planet. I wouldn't be on this planet. Trust me on that one. Oh, good God. Anyway, so you want to avoid the ones who are like, you know, oh, I'm so enlightened and I've got all the answers. Nobody's got all the answers. I don't got all the answers. They don't got all the answers. So anybody who's like, I know it all, I have all the answers, I'm a guru, follow this path, give me all your money. You know, that bullshit. You want to watch out for that. And there's a lot of them out there. So the ones I like, I will tell you right here, Shahida Arabi. Love, 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 love. Susanna Quintana, who I keep trying to get onto YouTube because she's got some really good stuff, but she's so afraid to go on air. But I'm going to get her on air, damn it. So, you know, it's like the people who are not afraid to share other people's work. You know, I am so about telling everybody about Shahida Arabi. Love, love, love. About Susanna Quintana. Love, love, love. About Kim Saeed. Amazing. I love her. You know, Dana Morningstar. She's great. You know, Richie Grannon, his earlier stuff is fantastic. You know, I mean, it's like there is so much good information out there. But there are a lot of flakes out there. There's a lot of gurus that want to get, you know, adoration or ego stroke or supply from the internet. So yeah, you basically look to see who's sharing. Look to see who's sharing. Look to see who's doing it for free. Look to see who's out there doing it not for their ego, not for money, not for any of this bullshit, but they want to make sure that people are educated and not being abused. Those are the ones you want to look for. The ones who are like charging $100,000 million for their, you know, buy this set for $100,000 million. Well, I'm sorry, most abuse victims can't afford that. I don't know if anybody's been paying attention, but abusers do financial abuse and they wipe us out. They wipe us out. Their whole goal is to financially, spiritually, morally bankrupt us. That's their goal, is to bankrupt us, literally. And so most targets of abuse, when they come out of it, they don't have $100,000 million to spend on, you know, buy this package of, you know, tapes on how to not be abused. So, you know, anyway, so, you know, there's that. So you trust your gut. If something feels off, it's off. Trust your gut, you know. If you don't like what I have to say, turn the channel, you know. It's pretty simple. It's like trust your gut. And you want to start learning how to trust your gut. Do not listen to your head. Do not listen to your heart. Listen to your gut. Your gut is a simple yes or no answer, okay? So you watch people's tapes. If you start getting a creepy feeling from it, turn it off. Then that's not the person for you. So if the message resonates with you, then stick with it. You know, and that's a good way to start trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work, what you trust, what you don't trust, and you do investigate. I investigate. It's like before I start promoting anybody's books or anybody's site or anything else, I go watch them. I watch them and I read their books. Like Shahida Arabi's book is amazing. I wish I had a copy of it so I could buy this book, you know. And then get Susanna Quintana's book. It's free on Amazon, I think it is. It's called You're Still That Girl. You know, she's got some really good stuff. She's been there, done that. She's been through the whole divorce thing. She knows what she's talking about. So, you know, investigate them. Do they have a criminal background? Did they get convicted of securities fraud? Do they have a fake degree? Do they have a degree that's really suspect? You know, why are they doing this? What's the goal? What's their end goal? What are they aiming for? What's the payoff? What's the payoff? That's always the question to ask. What is their payoff? For mine, I want to educate everybody, and I will die a happy woman when everybody on the face of the planet is totally educated about what abusers do, who they are, so that they never have to be abused again. I know it's a fantasy. I'm not ever going to reach everybody, but it's a beautiful dream, and I'm going to live it until I don't. So there it is. All right. For those surviving a cult, this is a great book, Shunned, by Linda A. Curtis. So if you have been in a cult of any kind, because I talked about this a few weeks ago, there's a great book called Shunned by Linda A. Curtis, and it talks about what it's like to leave this entire family, as it were, and to be shunned and break away from that and then find out who you are and then try to reconnect with your own family and your own friends. And great book. So Shunned by Linda A. Curtis. Excellent book. Okay, next question. Will the narcissist ever leave? No. Well, let me preface that. Okay, so narcissists generally only leave when the supply is no longer good for them. So remember, their target of abuse is their cocaine. They're like, oh, I can control them and I can do this to them and oh, ha, ha, you know. And once the target is no longer supplying the supply of the supply, oh my God, I'm tired. Anyway, once the target is no longer doing the supply and giving them what they need. So let's say that they've used up the target. Let's say they have squeezed them for everything they could possibly get out of them. There's no money left. The target is exhausted. They're ill. They're, hospitalized. They're whatever. The abuser will then go and walk the fuck away. Why? Because they're not getting supply from the target anymore. This target is no longer this gorgeous woman or this handsome man. They've been drained of literally every ounce of life energy that they have. And the abuser has probably run through every ounce of money that the person had, and they're done with them. And then they leave and they go find another supply. That is generally the only time that they will ever, quote unquote, leave. Now, what is usual, though, is that the narcissist uses up the supply, goes off and finds another one, is able to sucker some other person and starts, feeding off of them in their own particular horrific manner. And then when that supply runs out, they'll run back to the previous supply to see if there's anything left that they can squeeze out of them. Because they're assholes that way. That's just what abusers do. Now, if the abuser is the one to leave, count your blessings, get out, get far away, change your number, do whatever you need to do so that you're unreachable. Because generally, it's easier if the abuser decides they're done with you. If you decide that you're done with the abuser, they'll fight you all the way through court. It'll be a dragged out divorce or separation or whatever. They'll be complete jerks about it, and that's just because everything's a win for them. So you leaving is like you won, even though it's like, how did I win? My relationship is a sham, and I'm realizing all of this was an illusion, and, how is this a win? Well, to them, you left them, you won. And they can't stand that, so they've got to win. So they've got to make sure to punish you for winning. So that's what they do. Does the narcissist get better? So let me say this again for the people in the back. Hell no! No, they don't get better. No, with a side of no, an extra helping of no, and hell no. They don't get better, guys. They don't. They get worse with age. They do. They do not mellow out. They get worse. They get more nasty, more vicious, more critical. Nothing's ever good enough. Nothing's ever right. Nothing's ever, fun or anything else. They're cuckoo for frickin' Cocoa Puffs. This is just who they are. No, they do not get better. They do not. And to think that you have not done everything in your power to make it better is flawed logic. So what the narcissist does, hang on a second. What the narcissist does is they do this whole, oh, I'll get better. I'll go to therapy. We'll never, listen to me now, believe me later. Never go to therapy with your abuser. Do not do it. They will use everything said in therapy against you. That's what narcissists do. Therapy is supposed to be a private session between two people, and you work on your stuff and you take care of it. So what the abuser will do is they'll take whatever you said in therapy and they'll beat you over the head with it. Well, you said this and you said that and you said this and you said that and da-da-da-da-da and you're wrong and you. Never go to therapy with an abuser. You'll just end up being more abused because you will be honest, genuine, and real, and they will be trying to charm the therapist. And get the therapist on their side. So, where was I going with this? Oh my God. Oh, so they'll do the whole, I'll get better, things will change, blah, blah. No, it doesn't really. It'll change temporarily once they know they've been caught. So let's say they've cheated, right? And you caught them dead to rights, okay? They'll change temporarily, and then they'll go right back to their old ways. The change is never permanent. So I hear people all the time going, "Oh, but they're getting better," and da 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 da. And I said, "Give it a while. I think 2 weeks. Give it 2 weeks. Let's see how it goes." And then they come sit on my couch and go, "Oh, you're right." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know, and I hate it when I'm right, but there it is." So anyway, there's that. No, they don't get better ever, 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 ever. Stop thinking that it's you. Stop thinking that it's something that you did or didn't do, or that you should have done differently, or coulda, shoulda, woulda, or They've shown you who they are. This is who they are. Get out, save yourself. Okay? Does an obsessive ex ever stop? Okay, so let's talk about this. So, obsessive ex syndrome, okay? They are, well, what's the nice way to put this? They're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. They're just cray-cray. They're completely gone cray-cray. Obsessive ex are the ones that are definitely dark triad. They're definitely psychopaths. They want to win at all costs, and I do mean at all costs. They will obsess, they will stalk, they will cyber stalk, they'll steal your identity, they'll steal your social security, they'll, create false personas on the internet and stalk you that way. They'll try to intimidate you using different names on Facebook, the whole thing. And they're crazy. They're nuts. They're cuckoo for Cocoa Puff. They need help. But they're never going to get it, and they don't think there's anything wrong with them. And so when somebody bests them, wins, gets away from them, is not being punished by them, is not being controlled by them, is not being, they're not fearful of them or anything else, they obsess, and just nuts, crazy. Those types don't stop. They're insane. They are literally insane. They're insane. And generally the only thing that will get them to stop is a court order, and sometimes not even then. So you've got to be prepared. If you've got an obsessive ex and they are stalking you and they are harassing you and calling your work or trying to get you fired or anything like that, you file a restraining order and you update it every year. In Arizona, it has to be updated every year, which is stupid. I think they should do lifetime ones. But yeah, you get a restraining order, and then you take it a step further. You go take personal safety classes. You go learn how to handle a gun. You go learn how to handle pepper spray. You take grappling classes. Wing Chun Kung Fu is great for grappling. So, you take safety class. You learn how to protect yourself. You learn how to box. You learn how to kick. You learn how to fight. That kind of thing. You don't leave things to chance, because these people are crazy, The reason it's called obsessive ex, because they're obsessive and they're your ex, and they're not going to stop. So I have seen them stop when it gets too painful for them. In other words, when the public is made aware that they're crazy, like a restraining order has been put out on them, and then they'll stop. But then as soon as the restraining order is up, they're right back to their old antics. So that's why you have to renew it every single year. So anyway, there is that. So they'll stop temporarily, and sometimes they stop when they find a new supply, so you always, I hate to say this, you always hope that they find a new supply so that they leave you alone, but then that means that somebody else is being victimized, which is no bueno. So anyway, there is that. How do you do mirror work if you hate looking in the mirror? Okay, this is common. So not everybody likes to look at themselves. Why? Because we've had abusive parents, abusive caregivers, abusive ex-romantic partner telling us all sorts of horrible things about our body, about our face, about the way we look, about the way we talk, about blah, 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 name it. So basically, if you have a hard time looking in the mirror, just start with the positive affirmations. Find something you are okay about yourself with. Wow, okay, I have really thick hair. I like my thick hair. That's great. Start with that. And then you build upon that. And then if you can, every once in a while, take a look in the mirror and just say hi and then run away. And that's okay. Be okay with you. It's like find something you're okay with. If you can't like it, then something you're okay with. You find something you're okay with. Start small. Because if you've got this nasty inner critic that's just all the time, it's really hard to start off with, hi, how you doing? I love you. Have a great day. That can be hard. That can be hard. So if you can't do that, then you start small. You don't look in the mirror. You say something positive about you, something, anything. Find it. And then you build on that. And you just keep going until you're able to look in the mirror and you just say hi, walk off. And then it's like you're getting used to. You're getting used to looking at yourself in the mirror. You're going to get used to saying nice things to yourself. And if something nasty pops up, you put the smack down on that. You do not need to listen to that. That is bull tinky. You put the smack down and you replace it with a positive. So you start with positive affirmations throughout the day. If you can't do the mirror work, then start with the positive affirmations. So find something about yourself that you like or are okay with. You just start small and you start building. Baby steps. That's what we got to do. All right. Somebody was asking me about throwing things. No. Normal, healthy people do not have temper tantrums and do not throw things. Period. I cannot stress that enough. I understand being angry and everything, but if somebody is throwing stuff in the middle of an argument, that's an intimidation tactic. That scares other people when things are thrown. Even if they're not being thrown at them, it's still an intimidation tactic, whether you're conscious of that or not. So if that is what's going on and objects are being thrown, then you may want to get with a therapist and work on some anger management techniques so that you can direct your anger in a healthy manner as opposed to an intimidation manner or a throwing things manner. So no, that's not normal. No, normal, healthy people do not throw objects when they are angry. Now, if you're having a conversation with somebody and things get heated and it's getting to the point where you're wanting to throw an object, call a timeout. That's what healthy people do. They call a timeout, you walk away, you cool down, you come back, you try again. Unhealthy people allow themselves to get ramped up. They're enjoying it because remember, anger jacks up the endorphins, the dopamine, serotonins. It's a high. We get high off of it. We do. That's why if you ever go to an AA meeting, especially the old-timer AA meetings, and, haze of smoke and back in the old days when we could smoke, so there's a haze of smoke, a ton of coffee, and there are just dry drunks there that are pissed as hell that they are dry. But they're using anger as their addiction because it jacks up the endorphins, the dopamine, serotonins. So when somebody is raging, you can guarantee they're getting high off of it. Think about it. That's why narcissists do it, because they enjoy the rage. They enjoy the high. They enjoy that power. Incredible Hulk, that kind of thing. So that's why they do it. So anyway, what do you do when an abuser comments on your weight or brings up touchy subjects? So abusers very much like to control people with what they're eating, how much they weigh, how they look, etc. Especially somatic narcissists. Somatic meaning they're all about the body. So if they start commenting on something, especially if it's somebody that you're not related to or not in a relationship where you can tell them, hey, sod off. If it's a narcissist, a relative you don't like, a boss, something like that, you basically just kind of gray rock them and change the subject and walk away. Find a distraction. Oh, look, there's Aunt Bertha. And you run off after Aunt Bertha. Or you change the subject or whatever. Or you just, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I lost weight. Yeah. Nothing. You give them nothing. Give them nothing. They're looking for a reaction. They're looking for the, thanks for noticing. Or, yeah, I have packed on a few pounds. Asshole. They're looking for that. They're looking for that harm or whatever, They don't care what the reaction is as long as there's a reaction. Don't give them a reaction. Don't give them a reaction. It's nobody's business whether you weigh a lot or little. No, it's none of their business. You could even say, well, thank you for noticing, none of your business. You could do that. That would piss them off too. So if they bring up touchy subjects, you want to redirect them away. And or just be like, oh yeah, well, yeah, that happened. Oh God, look at the time. I gotta go. And you cut them off. You are under no obligation to continue standing there talking to them. You really are not. Okay. Do abusers try to become you? For example, they've taken on stories that I've told as their own. Yes, they do. Because remember, abusers are lacking an identity, and especially if they are malignant borderline, not so much narcissist, but more malignant borderline, they take on the target's everything. They will literally try to absorb them into them and become them. They'll start dressing like them. They'll start taking over their hobbies. They'll start telling the stories as if they're their own. They have no sense of identity. So they're trying to become the other person because they don't like who they are, so they want to become somebody else. But then when they realize that they'll never really be that other person, that's when they become crazy and hateful and want to kill. So John Lennon's murderer, for example, wanted to be John Lennon. Couldn't be John Lennon, and he couldn't be John Lennon as long as John Lennon was there, so he killed John Lennon. Yeah, don't get me started. I'm still, struggling with that one. Because I liked John Lennon's music, although I recognized he was an abuser. So, anyway, the point being, though, is that yes, they do try to take on. The more psychopathic they are, the more disordered they are in the head, the more delusional. The more they are going to try to take on another person's persona. Because they don't know who they are, so they like this persona, so I'm going to take on that, and I'm going to become them, and I'm going to take over their stories, I'm going to take over their hobbies, I'm going to take over everything. I'm going to become them. And then they can't, and when they realize they can't, that's when they become dangerous, that's when they become obsessive exes, that's when they start stalking, that's when they start, so there's that. Okay, why do they criticize you when you know you are doing the right thing, or you know you look good? Because they want to control. You can't control somebody who's got a great sense of themselves, So when you're doing the right thing and you know you're doing the right thing, oh, well, now are you sure? Are you sure you're doing the right? They plant that seed of doubt. They want you to doubt yourself. They want you to rely on them like this. Or if you know you look good, they'll say something snarky or nasty, or they'll bring up the weight. Either too much or not enough. Oh, you're too thin, or you're too fat, or you're too this, too that, too much, too little, whatever. It's a way to control. It's a way to keep you off balance and in their control. That's why they do that. Lying by omission. So what is unsaid is just as important as what is said, okay? Narcissists are the masters and mistresses of lying by omission. They'll tell so much of the truth, but then they'll leave out the rest of the story. So lying by omission is lying. Lying by omission is lying. So if somebody is lying by omission, they're lying about a lot of stuff, not telling the whole story, and they're only telling this part of the story, then they're showing you who they are. Don't hang around them. So lying is not good. And narcissists convince their partners to lie. They tell them things like, everybody lies, it's okay for you to lie, everybody lies, that kind of thing. And they start getting their partner to lose their moral compass. And when their partner is an egoist, they lose themselves completely. They go from great mom or great dad to, not caring where the kids are or what's going on because the abuser wanted the kids out. Wow, I'm going to talk more about that tomorrow. So, lying by omission. And they start lying. They lie, and that's no bueno. No bueno. Lying by omission is just as bad as lying outright. So you want to watch to see if somebody is lying by omission. If they're doing that, don't have anything to do with them. Be done. Reactive to abuse, when the narc flips the script. So in other words, the target of abuse gets angry and responds to the abuse, and then the narc flips the scripts and says, you're the abuser, look at you, you're yelling at me, blah, blah, blah. This is why the only response to this whole thing is gray rock, no contact, get the hell out. Seriously, you cannot win this fight, guys. You're never going to change them. They're not ever going to get better. They're never going to grow. They're not going to have a V8 moment and go, oh my God, I should change. I'm a horrible, awful, terrible person and I need to stop being an asshole. That's not going to happen. It might happen in therapy for about 2 minutes and then they're done and then they're back to abusing again. So they flip the script and then they accuse you of being the abuser when you respond with pain, hurt, anger when they have harmed you. So if that's what's going on, they're showing you who they are again. Don't respond. Give them nothing. I'm not kidding you. When I say go gray rock, when I say don't give them anything, I'm not kidding you. If you give them nothing, they've got nothing to work with and they will grow tired of that. Now, the less psychotic ones will grow tired of it and find a different supply. The more psychotic ones will just sit there and pick 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 and pick, try to get you to respond. Because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for that reaction. They don't care whether it's positive or negative as long as you react. You stop paying attention to a narcissist, they get bored. So there that is. Is it nature or is it nurture? That is the eternal question. Nature, nurture. How does this work? Well, nurture absolutely has something to do with it, to be sure. However, nature also has a lot to do with it. You can have a family of 5, and maybe 2 of the kids will be crazy, and the rest of them will be relatively normal. Why? They also had the same parents. Why is this? It's nature. You know, people's makeup. It's like their strength of who they are, their strength of their id, the strength of, you know, their ego, superego. You know, it's like, what makes us who we are? You know, why are some more survivable of these events than others? Why do some kids just absolutely implode? And I'm going to talk more about that tomorrow, actually, because I want to talk about the effects of neglect and abuse. You know, what happens to the kids when mom or dad is in an abusive relationship? What happens to those kids, whether they're little kids or whether they're adult kids? What is that? So, and why do some seem to survive it better than others? It's nature, you know. It's the nature of their makeup. You know, some people are naturally resistant to PTSD. Others are not, you know. So there's that. So humor. Humor is huge in healing, guys. Don't ever lose your sense of humor. People often wonder why I use humor in what I do. Because it helps us remember things. That's why I do it, because if you're laughing, you're learning. And, you know, it helps us remember things, and it also is able to put it into the proper context or the proper perspective. So, for example, sometimes when that voice pops up, yeah, you're going to tell it to saw it off, and then sometimes you'll make fun of it. Oh, really? Really, Harold? You're going to go there? You know, or whatever you call your name of your voice. So, you know, you make fun of it. You make light of it. You don't give it the gravitas that it thinks it deserves. Why? Because narcissists are all about gravitas. Because they think that they're important, and they think that they should be taken seriously at all times, 24/7. They have no sense of humor, not real humor. They're very sarcastic, sardonic, you know. I mean, if they do have a sense of humor, they like being the center of attention, that kind of thing. They can do it in crowds, but in reality, behind closed doors, they don't have the gentle sense of humor. Like, if things go south, instead of laughing at it, they get pissed, and they, you know, that whole thing. It's like, well, shit, things went south, punt, find a different way, you know. You find the humor in it. You find, you know, the funniness. It's like, oh, look, mayonnaise all over the floor. Oh, well, dog will like that. You know, something, you know, you find the humor in it. You find something. Don't ever feed your dog mayonnaise. It'll be bad. Don't do that. So the point being is that narcissists want to be taken seriously 24/7. They think that they have this gravitas that needs to be, you know, and that if everybody around them is not serious, that, you know, somehow they're not serious, or that they're not taken seriously. They want to be taken seriously, and they hate humor. They hate real humor. They hate it. They hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. They will say things like, oh, I've learned to ignore it. Really? Wow, I wouldn't want to ignore humor. Humor makes the world go round. Humor makes me get up in the morning. Humor helped me to survive my childhood. Humor, without Robin Williams, I'd be dead. You know, he's the one that kept me from killing myself, and I'm sorry I couldn't return the favor to him, because his humor saved me. So humor is huge. Don't be afraid to make fun of things, you know, in your life. Don't be afraid to have a sense of humor. Humor is what's going to save us. It really does. It helps. It helps with the pain. It helps with the seriousness of the situation. It helps with the absurdity of the situation. I mean, really, who does things that abusers do? It's crazy. It's crazy. It makes no sense. It makes no logical sense. So using humor is often a way to help mitigate the pain and to help us remember things. So yeah, use humor. Use it well, use it wisely, use it often. So there it is. All right, guys, I am so tired. I'm going to go to bed. I am going to do a show tomorrow for sure. I'll be on at noon. Tomorrow's topic is going to be, what are the effects on the kids? You're in a bad relationship. What are the effects on the kids? How is this going to affect them, whether they're little ones or whether they're adult ones? So I want to talk about abandonment. I want to talk about abuse. I want to talk about neglect. I want to talk about verbal abuse. I want to talk about all of that stuff because this is going to affect the kids. Don't kid yourself. It's going to affect the kids. All right, guys, I'm tired. Have a wonderful night. I hope I can upload this. So I will talk to you later, and I will see you tomorrow in Phoenix at noon, Arizona Mountain Standard Time. I can no longer brain. I'm going to bed. Goodbye. Good night.